Good afternoon, Yakima Downtown Rotary. Welcome. I'm going to thank Kayleen Stiles. She can raise her hand. If you didn't shake her hand when you came in, she was our greeter today. Thank you, Kayleen. And one thing I'd like to note, because I don't know how many times it happens, but at this meeting today, we have a Rick, another Rick, and a Ricky. And that doesn't happen very often. So, Rick Gross, raise your hand so we know who you are. And where's Ricky? Right over here, Ricky Adams. And you know who the other one is right here. Okay, we are going to start today with music by Charlie Robin. And
supported by a cast of characters, Eric and Bob both. And this is a very last-minute addition for them, so we appreciate them jumping in as they are. For Pride Month celebration, I figured that choosing the gay anthem would be inappropriate. Some people would say that We Are Family is the Pride anthem, but for those of us who are musical theater geeks, this is the true gay anthem from La Cage aux Folles. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. My own, sorry, my apologies. We're going to start over as I screw things up. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see crap. So, yeah. I am what I am. I am my own special creation. So come take a look. Give me the hook or the ovation. It's my world that I want to take a little pride in. My world, and it's not a place I have to hide in. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. I am what I am. I don't want praise. I don't want pity. I bang my own drum. Some think it's noise. I think it's pretty. And so what if I love each feather and each spangle? Why not try and see things from a different angle? Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am. I am what I am, and what I am needs no excuses. I deal my own deck, sometimes the ace, sometimes the deuces. There's one life, and there's no return and no deposit. One life, so it's time to open up your closet. Life's not worth a damn till you can say, hey world, I am what I am. And thank you, boys.
thank you, Charlie. The talent that we have. I couldn't help but watching the keyboard with Bob and Eric with the music sort of being shuffled back and across, and they pulled it off. They are so talented. Very good. Okay, our invocation today will be given by Kurt Laverton.
Thank you very much. This is a great time of year, obviously. It's, despite the haze out there, it's going to be beautiful again eventually, like it has been the last 10 or so days. This is a big day in this is my world for two reasons. One, because, and most importantly, 49 years ago today, I asked Melissa to marry me, and I got the right answer, thank God. So that was, and in honor of that, I'm getting to greet my best friend from college and his wife, who are friends of 54 years tonight, and they're going to spend the weekend with us. So it's what points out to me the fact that, along with everything else that goes on in Yakima in the summer, it's a great time for not only family adventures, etc., but just sharing Yakima, as Kyle will discuss this, and some of the things about our valley and the breadth of it and the beauty of it and joy of it and the secrets of it and the things that go on here. How special it is to live in Yakima. So we do all the kinds of things after 54 years. When Dave comes from Kansas to see us, he wants to see Adams, he wants to go up near Paradise, he likes to see Tipsoo. We've got to go down the Wine Country Road. For the longest time, onion rings on North First were involved. Sadly, he's in counseling on that one, but the meds and the shock therapy are helping. So anyway, we all joined together to celebrate this summer, it occurred to me that we should recognize how great it is to share our valley with those we care about most in this season. So join me if you would, please. Great Creator, thank you so much for creating a wonderful place to live in that we all share together through heat and rain and wind and beauty, roses that fill our yards right now in this time, and clematis and iris and everything else that makes our world so beautiful. Thank you for this season in Yakima and the friends and those we care about that we can share it with. Amen.
Thank you, Kurt. I know the beauty of the valley, one of the things you left out was the smoke, but we haven't had the smoke yet. So that's, I guess New York and the East Coast are getting the smoke, unfortunately. Well, I'd like to welcome our guest today. If you are a guest, would you mind standing so we could acknowledge your presence here? And thank you for coming. And we hope you'll come back, and if you aren't a member or haven't been a member, please consider looking into it. We always appreciate having new members to our club. So I'm going to go through some announcements. This is my prop. The Molly Davis scholarships have been awarded, and on June 20th at 5 p.m. at the Yakima Valley College Conference Center, they will be awarded in a ceremony there. You are invited as a member of Rotary. There'll be some appetizers served, and we in a way participate in this, and it'd be nice to have a showing of Rotarians to congratulate the recipients. So, and actually, after the meeting, I'm going out to tie it, to put this in a recipient's front yard. Historical Perspectives program. We've been having those on a kind of a quarterly basis this last year, and some great topics, mostly on a historical basis, kind of the history behind certain events or certain, certain events or certain issues, and it's been very, very informative. I don't know whether it's just because I was a history major that I find it so interesting, but it does give you different perspectives. And we are going to have one of those on the 15th of June. It's coming up next week. I think that's so. Is that a Thursday? Today's the 8th? No. Yeah. From 5:30 to 6:30 at YBC Convention Center. It is serving as a kickoff to the local Juneteenth celebrations. Rotary honorary member Robert Trimble. Many of you have heard him speak here at our club. He'll be speaking with our recent academic scholarship recipient, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this correctly, Joshua Hayola. He is also, I believe, the student body president at Eisenhower, and I understand it might be in an interview format. So I think it's going to be a great opportunity to learn more about the history of our valley as it pertains to Juneteenth celebrations. And, of course, special bonus. I don't think Anthony Peterson is here today. I didn't see him come in. But I understand he's bringing celebratory appetizers. So if that piques your interest, show up and participate in those as well as the program. Next Thursday, 5:30, 6:30 at YVC Convention Center. Now, I think I've got the announcements there. Okay, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We have a little bit of time. I hope it's fun. First of all, it's going to start as an announcement. There's going to be a Sid Morrison roast and toast on June 24th. It starts at 5 p.m., runs till 10. Boy, there's going to be a lot of roasting going on if it's going to take 5 hours. Single tickets are $125. Table of 8 is $1,000. It'll be located at the Agricultural Building with the social hour, I guess, starting at 5 p.m. And then at 6 p.m., let the roast begin, is what it says here. And the proceeds will benefit the Sid Morrison Ag Education and Programming through the Central Washington Fair Association Foundation. So put that on your itinerary. You can go online, just look up Sid Morrison Roast and Toast, and you can order tickets online and participate in that and help fund that foundation. So, Sid Morrison. First of all, I'm going to ask, how many members here do not know who Sid Morrison is? You can raise your hands, it's fine. There are a few of you. Okay, so we're going to hopefully educate you. So at each table, I guess the rest of the people at each table know who Sid Morrison is. So you probably have a lot of information that you can pass on to these new members who are they don't have to be new, but they aren't aware of who he is and what he's done. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk around the table and share what you know about Sid Morrison. And then we'll have, we'll ask the members who don't know who he is to tell us what they learned. So we got a few minutes. On your mark, get set, go. All right, time's up. So, who has someone at a table who is not familiar with Sid Morrison? Anybody bold enough to, oh, did I see a hand go up? Okay. Is that Diana Meacham? Oh, we have to have a microphone for you.
Oh, no.
Okay, I'll do this in a different format. Unless you want to speak, if somebody wants to speak. Oh, who does? Dan, okay. Dawn. Oh, Dana, okay.
One of the things that several of us at this table remembered about Sid, and it was my first time meeting Sid Morrison, was through the Yakima Sundusters. If anybody remembers the Yakima Sundusters, you'll know that he was present there a lot and representing our county and several other counties at their festivals. But one of the other things we observed from our table is that Sid Morrison represented us across this state in a very bipartisan way, and for that we're truly grateful.
This doesn't sound like a roast, does it? Okay. Anybody else? Harry Hellison? Oh, no, he's just taking something out of his pocket. Okay. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, then I'm just going to ask some questions. How long has Sid Morrison been a member of Yakima Rotary? Craig Mendenhall, you can't answer this. Forever. No, 1956. He's the longest serving member of Rotary. Where is Sid's home? Zilla, you're right. What's his classification? It is honorary. So, what legislature did he serve in? Washington State, yeah, pretty obvious. And then from the Washington State legislature, where did he go? Congress, 1981 through 1993. What was he referred to as? Kind of a name that was given to him, apparently. A good name. What I have is farmer politician. And what did he farm? Name of the company? Morrison Fruit, that's right. Seems kind of obvious, doesn't it? Central Washington University. He was involved there. In what capacity? Board of Trustees, did I hear that? Yes. Served as chair. What college did he graduate from? Oh my golly, right off the bat, Jennifer's got it. WSU. I think while he served for Washington State, there was a department that he led. I was led to believe that, is there a department that he led? Agriculture? Transportation? Transportation. I just went to the judge. He gave me the right answer. Well, I'm just going to tell you, he's been on the fair board for many years, and there's one thing at the fair that I understand he made that you just can't avoid when you go into the state fair. Oh, corn dogs? No. Corn dogs? The Morrison corn dog stand, okay. I don't remember seeing it, but no, I don't think so. Oh, where was that? Who said it? Greg Stewart. Oh, come on. Oh. All right. because the mallets of the previous day were worn out. Okay, all right. So that's our moment of Sid Morrison fun, and if you want to have more fun roasting Sid, there's the opportunity on the June 24th. That's coming up pretty quickly. Let's see. Thank you. Okay, what we have next is Sergeant of Arms John Cooper, who told me he didn't really like to say the word sergeant because he wasn't always sure how to spell it. Therefore, how do you pronounce it? So anyway, there you go, John.
Yeah, that's why I go to taking and calling it just Sarge. You know, it's just plain old Sarge. So today, we're going to talk a little bit about the many ways that June 8th matters. Now, when it comes to history, a number of significant things have happened on this date. The Prophet Muhammad passed away. Michelangelo's famous, and some would say infamous sculpture David was installed. And the Supreme Court ruled that restaurants in D.C. could not refuse to serve blacks. So as you can see, in history and in the religious community and the art world, today was a significant day. And of course, every day of the year has some sort of holiday or celebration that all throughout Rick's reign we've been celebrating. So let's take a look at some of the celebrations you will find on June 8th. Yes, there is a National Karen Day, but it's not about those obnoxious Karens that were made so infamous during COVID. Karen Day has been around, believe it or not, for about 20 years, celebrating all the wonderful women who are named Karen. Now, I looked at our club directory, and we have only one active member named Karen. You know who that is? Karen Ireland. And I don't think she's here today, so there she is. She's hiding in the back. Stand up, Karen. You are exempt from this fine. All the rest of you, donate. Now, this is also National Name Your Poison Day. And it's an expression used to describe your drink of choice, but it also refers to making the least bad decision of various choices that you are presented. All of us in our life have been presented the worst of two case scenarios, and we've had to make a choice between what's the lesser of those evils. So make a donation if you've been in a predicament where you've had to pick the lesser of two evils and didn't have to marry them. Now let's move on to more delectable poison. Yes, this is National Jerky Day. And it's been around for centuries, with most historians agreeing that jerky came about in the mid-1500s. If you love the chewy stuff, don't be a jerk, just peel off a buck. Today, though, United Nations had declared this day as World Oceans Day to celebrate the oceans of the world and the important role they play in our lives. Our planet, as we know, has a lot of water. What percentage of the ones you see here is the world covered by our oceans? The correct answer is 66%. If you got it wrong, you're all wet and pay $1. Now today, as you came in, you heard a whole bunch of music celebrating friends. And today is National Best Friend Day. And we can all make a donation for the best friends that have come to see us again from far and near and that we've had throughout our lives, including those furry friends. But if you choose your furry friend and you have a spouse as your best and not as your best friend, pay an extra $5. But the most important event and celebration, as the saying goes, I saved this one for the very last. Because it's, well, truthfully, the best one for me. It's my daughter's birthday today. So happy birthday, kiddo. And here's a nice sizable donation for all the great memories. And that's what June 8th is all about.
Thank you very much, John. You did Sergeant quite well. Thank you. All right, we are getting to the time of our speaker today, and David Links, who manages our Larson Gallery, is going to introduce our speaker today.
Good afternoon. I'm here to welcome Kyle Curtis. Kyle joined our downtown Rotary Club in 2019, and after being involved in Interact and Rotaract, Kyle is a graduate of Eisenhower High School and the University of Washington. Go Dogs. Kyle returned home to the Yakima Valley after working for Liberty Mutual Insurance as a financial analyst in Seattle. Back in the Valley, he started to work for his family business in White Swan and Wapato. Kyle served as Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, where he managed various budgets, insurance, payroll, hiring of upper management, and strategic planning. He has vast amounts of community service that includes serving as treasurer for Yakima Pride, new leaders of Yakima County, and Ag Forestry, to name a few. Kyle was elected as Yakima County Commissioner, District 2, in November of 2022. He is honored to serve and committed to being accessible, transparent, and collaborative. In Kyle's presentation today, Pride in the Valley, he will share his personal journey of discovery, learning and the challenges faced when coming out as gay. Regardless of the individual circumstances, there is no right or wrong way to come out, and each story is a deeply personal and often life-altering process. Kyle will share his journey and life events that will make him who he is today. Please welcome Kyle Curtis.
Thank you, David. Can everyone hear me in the back? Perfect. All right, so I did put together a little slide deck to help with my presentation, so I want to make sure it works real quick. All right. So again, thank you, David, for the wonderful introduction. President Rick, Rotarians, guests, and friends, I want to say it's an absolute honor to be before you today to speak on a topic that is near and dear to me and so many others in our community. If you haven't realized yet through your social media feeds or going through Target, Starbucks, or any other corporate marketing scheme, it just so happens to be Pride Month. Surprise! But in all seriousness, today's topic is Pride in the Valley. And it is my hopes that everyone in this room will walk away from our short time together with something of value, something to reconsider, something to cherish, or just a better understanding and comfort level with a vibrant part of our community. As Rotarians, we understand that cultivating a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture is essential to realizing our vision of a world where people unite and take action in creating lasting change. Today's topic allows us to take that journey and engage in a conversation that is increasingly important. Before we begin today, I feel it's important to emphasize that my comments today are my own. My comments do not represent any positions of Yakima County, Yakima Pride, Rotary, or any other affiliated group that I have the opportunity to be a part of. You should also know that my story is just one of many stories and experiences that shape an individual's life and upbringing. Today, I am blessed to have this platform to share a little bit of my story, but I also want to acknowledge that while I have this opportunity, so many others do not get this privilege or have the opportunity. So let's begin. Most of the time when people ask of your coming out story, they will say, when did you know you were gay? When did you know you were different? When did you know that you liked the same sex? Being gay was never really a choice for me. It wasn't like I woke up one day and had two switches to turn on, one being straight or one being gay. Being gay has always been a journey towards realizing my differences, realizing my wants and desires, and eventually accepting who I was and never allowing myself to be ashamed. For me, a lot of this discovery took place in middle school. It was then that I knew that something was a little bit different for me than the rest of my classmates. But I was never really able to put a name on it. I just felt different. I grew up in White Swan, located on the Yakama Indian Reservation, and lived in a pretty secluded household and didn't hang out or stay over at many friends' houses. I think that that was why naturally I turned to social media to really fill that gap. Through Facebook, I stumbled across a marriage equality Facebook group at a younger age. It was through this social media group that I was able to put the pieces together and eventually discovered the gay label. It is also through this Facebook group that I met my first boyfriend and ended up in a long-distance relationship. It's really hard reflecting on this to explain the feeling of meeting someone who is just like you when you thought there was no one else in the world, who identifies as you do, who too sometimes felt alone and unsure of what you truly were supposed to be in society. After 2 years, we would go through a breakup. Just like any other teenager going through a breakup, the first breakup sucks. It's the worst. For me, I became extremely isolated, extremely depressed, and extremely lost, and I even struggled with suicidal thoughts. I had lost, to me at the time, the only person in my life who I had opened up to and who I had shared the deepest, darkest secret I had, who knew of my homosexuality. I was at one of my lowest points in my life, and it was then that I chose to come to my parents for help. As I came to my parents, I explained to them that I had been struggling with the breakup and that I had been dating a guy discreetly for the past 2 years, of which they had no idea. As I spilled my heart out, as I outed myself, as I confessed my homosexuality, I prepared for the worst. I prepared for disgust. I prepared to have to answer for my wrongdoing. So as I sat there, and the seconds felt like minutes, waiting, my father looked at me and he said something that has forever been ingrained in me to this day. He said, "Son, I may never understand the reason you love who you love, but I love you regardless." To a 16-year-old, confused and alone, these words meant everything to me. Acceptance, love. I felt as if the weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I would go about the rest of my adolescence never really talking about my sexuality with my parents. It was never really brought up, and I, for the most part, preferred it that way. For me, the acceptance at that time was everything I needed at that moment. A few years would go by and I would yet have another challenging moment that I had to face. While I had come out to my parents, I had not necessarily told any of my close friends, and I surely did not tell my siblings. My brother is a few years younger than me and interested in everything I am not. He was your typical school jock, and I ended up being your typical school nerd. So one day, as I waited for my brother to get out of football practice so that we could head home, I noticed that as he got closer, he was extremely upset. He had a bloody nose and he had a cut to his head. When he got closer, I asked him what had happened, and he disclosed to me, he said, "Well, as we were changing, the guys in the locker room had been making fun of you, calling you gay, saying you were a faggot and you were seeing another guy." He said that he ended up telling them they were wrong, told them to shut up, and they ended up getting into a fight. He looked at me upset, hurt, and he asked me, he said, "These guys said you were gay, Kyle. They had said you'd been seeing another guy, but you're not gay, Kyle, right? You're not gay." I have never felt so sick to my stomach. It was an unbearable feeling, sitting there, seeing the tears in my brother's eyes, and having tears of my own. I mustered up the courage and I told my brother that I was in fact gay, and that I was extremely sorry I did not tell him sooner, and that I was sorry he had to go through what he did, defending my name. A brother's love is like no other, and that day I had to tell my brother that moving forward this was my battle, not his, and that I did not want him to defend me anymore. Yet again, I was blessed to have a brother's acceptance very early on. After graduating from high school, I ended up attending the University of Washington in Seattle, and it was there that I discovered, or continued to learn more about who I was. My freshman year, I decided I wanted to join a fraternity, and I ended up rushing Delta Lambda Phi. Delta Lambda Phi is the first fraternity founded by openly queer men who share values of justice, service, and fellowship. I joined the gay fraternity and was part of a lasting fellowship that I hold dearly today. Through this fellowship, I got to meet so many unique, vibrant, and amazing fraternity brothers that challenged me in so many ways. Often at times, we let stereotypes overcome us, and I was no different. I had imagined that all gay men must look and feel and think as I did. But that was far from the fact. My fraternity had brothers from every walk of life, every political spectrum, different creeds, different upbringings, and so much more. I began to cherish the uniqueness and colorful community that I was a part of. While at UW, I learned that I didn't necessarily fit into a singular box. I just so happened to represent the conservative student voice on campus through my involvement with college Republicans. UW didn't know what to do with me, a gay college Republican, an oxymoron. While I did not choose to be gay, I chose to identify with a political party that represented how I viewed the world and guiding principles. On the 2012 ballot, as you'll recall, Washington State had marriage equality. I would spend that year organizing conservative coalitions across the state to come out in support of gay marriage. We marched in Seattle Pride parades, we showed up to state Republican conventions, and I shared the message that gay conservatives were just as much a part of both communities. The right to get married is a fundamental right. As a fundamental right, it should be equally available to all citizens. As you know, Washingtonians would pass marriage equality that year, and as a young 20-year-old, that was a monumental moment for me and so many others. Realizing at that time that there were LGBT people who had fought their entire lives for this right, the right to marry was extremely humbling. No union is more profound than marriage. While marriage was something not on my mind at the time, it's a testament to my right to marry my partner Bernie next July. Coming home to Yakima 6 years ago, I looked for ways to further serve my community. I heard of a newer group called Yakima Pride, which their mission statement was to build and maintain a healthy LGBTQ+ community that promotes a positive image through visibility, education, and community involvement. Over the past 6 years, I have helped the group with getting established as an official 501c3, helped with finances, creating a budget, setting up governance documents, and eventually serving on the board of directors. It's been amazing for me to sit there and help grow the group over the past 6 years, but see the life and the vibrant community that has decided to get engaged and help further the mission of Yakima Pride. Yakima Pride puts on the annual Pride Parade in downtown Yakima, which has over the years drawn hundreds of participants. Yakima Pride also hosts the annual Rainbow Prom event for our county's LGBT youth to allow themselves to fully express themselves in an inclusive environment. And last year, we installed the rainbow crosswalks along Natchez Ave and Pendleton Way, and which serves as a testimonial to our community that all are welcome here in Yakima. As you know, I decided to run for Yakima County Commissioner last year, a decision that I took a long time to consider, but one that I am extremely grateful. I would eventually become, before you today, the first openly gay county commissioner east of the Cascades. Last year, while I knocked on hundreds of doors, going door to door, introducing myself to community members, sharing my vision for Yakima, I came across one household that I will never forget. It was a midday fall afternoon, and I came across a woman who was sitting in her lawn outside her house. As I approached her and introduced myself, I noticed that she had tears in her eyes. She apologized, and she said that it was too late in the year to blame it on allergies. As we chatted, She disclosed to me that she had her only son leave just earlier that week for school. He was going to attend Seattle University on the west side. She was having an extreme hard time with him leaving for school and being an empty nester. I shared my story of leaving home from Yakima and attending school in Seattle, and I shared that how over time you develop friendships, you learn the city, and you really start to become comfortable. As I chatted with her, she got really quiet, and then she looked up at me and she said, "Are you Kyle Curtis?" And which I said, "Well, yes, ma'am, I am." She said, "My son voted for you." She then tells me that this was his first election, and he was extremely excited to vote, and he was going through the voter pamphlet. And as he was going through the voter pamphlet, he came across my biography, and he read that I was a part of Yakima Pride, and I also disclosed in my bio that I had a partner. He was extremely excited to see someone running for an office here in Yakima that was out publicly. As she shared this with me, she then started to tear up again. And then she disclosed that her son had come out to their family earlier that summer, and that his 80-year-old widowed grandmother was struggling with acceptance, and that really bothered him and her both. He had left to college disheartened by the fact that his widowed grandmother had not come to see him off. I spent the next 20 minutes with that mom, sharing with her my story and sharing with her that it will get better both for her and her son. As you have heard my coming out story, it never really has been completed. Coming out as a member of the LGBTQ community is a deeply personal and often life-altering process. Regardless of the individual circumstances, there is no right or wrong way to come out. Of course, some people who identify as members may choose to come out in a public way, while others will not feel safe to do so, while others will never officially come out and just simply live their lives. It's also important to remember that an individual's decision to come out is their own personal choice. Regardless, I'm hoping that my journey, my stories today can be comforting and informative to everyone in some way. At its core, Pride Month represents a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-love. It's a celebration of our diverse identities, experiences, and the strength we find within ourselves to embrace who we truly are. Our individual stories, woven together, create a vibrant tapestry of human existence that deserves recognition and celebration. But Pride Month is not only about us. It's about a world that embraces everyone, regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. It is about creating a society that values love over hate, understanding over prejudice, and compassion over discrimination. It is a call to action for every person to recognize the importance of embracing diversity and fostering inclusivity in all aspects of our lives. The LGBT community has displayed remarkable resilience, fortitude, and perseverance. We have fought against discrimination, prejudice, inequality, demanding recognition and justice. We have come a long ways, achieving milestones that were once unimaginable. But yet, we still have battles to fight, barriers to break, and hearts to change. Let us remember that Pride Month is not just a celebration of how far we have come, but it is a reminder of the work that lies ahead. Or the fact that over 30% of youth experiencing homelessness in Yakima County identify as LGBT. Or the fact that 54% of our LGBT youth in Washington were not able to access mental health care last year. Pride Month is a celebration of love in all its forms, love that knows no boundaries, love that conquers hate, and love that uplifts and unites us all. I thank you for your time today, and I hope that you walk away with a deeper understanding of the many unique perspectives and journeys and walks of life our LGBT Yakima community has. On the tables are a flyer highlighting the Yakima Pride Parade this Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. downtown, and I invite you to join me and join in support and acceptance. As Rotarians, we continue our vision of a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle, for a very deeply personal and I would say courageous conversation with us today. So thank you for doing that. Next week, we have the Helinsky Foundation, Helinsky's Hope, and that is a foundation that was came about because of Kim and Mark Helinsky's son, Tyler, taking his own life as he was going to be a starting quarterback at Washington State University. So very surprising event, and I'm sure they're going to talk about suicide prevention next week. And that'll be here at the Convention Center. After that, we get to do some traveling, I guess, with Addie Logston, also here at the Convention Center. And then, I don't know if you want to come to this one, but it says past President's Council, President Rick's destruction. No, recognition, excuse me. So that's at the Convention Center. I think I'll be here. And is Pat True here? Oh, Adrian, okay. There is Jobs for Youth Committee meeting right afterwards. And with that, we are adjourned.